stay here. It goes off and gets used. And then we use a lot of it for farming. So that's what we use. So what we do is like the food waste would get dropped off someplace like that, and right away we get that loader and we open up a pile, and then we incorporate that food waste and the tableware right into that pile. And the reason we do that is inside that pile, when you open it up, it's about 165 degrees. Wow. And that hot temperature immediately starts to degrade that material, and then it also keeps it from flying around or dogs getting it or whatever. But the main point is that it immediately starts getting composted in those hot.
You said you bring the browns in, and then you bring the nitrogen, like
2 parts
the grass.
carbon, 1 part nitrogen.
So you don't put the food on the inside? Like, what's the process for actually the truck bringing the stuff to the
So the truck
pile?
would dump it, for instance, the truck would dump it right here, just right in front of this pile.
Dump
that
what?
big,
The
the
food.
food waste
Okay.
from University of Michigan.
Okay.
So let's say Garden Fresh salsa or University of Michigan stuff gets dumped right here.
Okay.
So the next step is that big loader comes along and just opens up a pile. Might be any one of these rows.
Yeah.
They'll open up the pile, and the guys usually know where the hottest part is happening, and so they'll open that up and mix that food waste in with the piles that we already have going,
Okay.
which were already made out of grass and leaves and wood chips and manure to the right recipe.
Okay.
So anyway, we open that up, put it in, and then periodically we turn it. Gorgeous.
Give it a smell.
Oh, wow.
Smells delicious.
Look at that.
Get your nose in there.
Isn't that nice?
I don't even smell anything, really.
You shouldn't. You really don't smell anything.
No. Oh, this is just like good dirt. Yeah. Yeah.
And that runs through a half-inch screen.
So I'm sorry if you already said this. How long does the process take?
I'd say about 2.5, 3 years on average.
Okay.
And that's what all of those piles there look like after it's run through the screener. And then we also make a topsoil.
Love Rudy. It's a good companion.
We just get a good sandy topsoil and mix it half and half with compost, because there's a lot of people that need actual soil.
Okay.
So
Right.
this is good soil. Whereas what you're looking at over there is not soil at all. That's decomposed organic matter, and it's called compost.
Right.
And even landscapers still aren't getting this. So that is not soil. It looks like it.
Yeah.
But if you planted all your plants in that, they would peter out on you in the end.
So that's a fertilizer more.
It's an
almost.
organic
strong.
soil amendment is what we call it.
Aha.
So you know how soil is made out of inorganic and organic?
Yep.
So here's your inorganic sandy topsoil mixed with organic compost, so it's ready to go. I find this is easier to sell because everybody understands the word soil,
Right.
but I still have a hard time communicating to people about what compost is used for.
So that's added to soil.
That's right, to make your soil better.
Better, yeah.
There's nutrients available. It releases the water if you have a clay soil, or it holds the water if you have a sandy soil. So it helps your soil act better. So anyway.
That helps clear it up for me too. That's good.
Oh, the sad thing is I've had Michigan State ag students come here and I'm not getting it through to them. I can tell they're still not getting it. You know, the difference between compost and soil. And, you know, those definitions, they ought to be able to understand this, okay?
Yeah.
So for every ton of compost that you purchase from us, and a ton would be like if you filled up the back of a pickup truck like that white one, it would probably have about a ton of compost in it. You get $9 worth of nutrients. So $9 worth of NPK. So that's another benefit to compost, not just soil structure and the microbial activity that it helps with the roots and ion caption exchange, and there's all kinds of cool things in the root structure that compost helps make happen, but there's actually in nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus available to plants. So that's the nutrient part of compost. Anything else you can think of?
I guess so. What would you think of typical sporting event type of food waste and materials waste that would be compostable? Let's say compostable cups and plates and trays and things like that. Do you think you could accept those kind of things?
Well, the easy thing is to accept it and talk about it. The hard thing is who is monitoring that can.
The purity of it, right?
Because it's always a great idea. It's easy for us to compost it. The hard part is intercepting those aluminum cans or the trash, the actual trash.
Right.
So that's always been the issue with any of these ideas is compliance and monitoring.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And make it as easy as possible. Like if you're going to have chips, make them sun chips in compostable bags.
Right.
Make it easy on yourself by not having packets of mayonnaise, for instance. So if you eliminate that and just have bulk condiments, for instance, then try to think of as many ways you're going to get contamination and avoid it altogether.
Right.
That's easier.
That's it. But we're trying to source from all the vendors to see, okay, what's the stuff coming in and that will be in people's hands that they're going to throw away, and can you make it all compostable and or recyclable?
So you accept those sun chip bags?
I think they're great. I think it's going to be funny when they make a
Right
commercial
there.
of
Straight from the source.
You know how if you get one, they're really loud?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not
That's
sure
what
if
I'm
they're
hearing,
really-
loud.
Have you? So you've had them actually compost?
Yeah, they compost well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tell people that you should never put meat products in your compost pile. That's because for the home composter, it's a bad idea. You're going to get mice and raccoons and neighbor dogs. It's just not a good idea. But for our purposes, and how I just told you that we open up the hot core and put it in there, nothing's going to get in there for one thing, but then the hot temperatures are going to break it down really quick. For instance, if I have a dead horse or a dead cow, we open it up, same process. Open up that hot core, it's 165 degrees. You put that carcass, all 1,000 pounds of it, in that hot core, and we cover it up. And we don't touch it for 2 months. 2 months, we go in, open it up, and all you can find are maybe the thickest, just a couple of thick bones, the head and the skull, and then this hip bone part. That's the only two parts that we ever see are those two big thick pieces of bone. The rest is gone. So if you think of a hot dog or a sausage or a hamburger,
It's gone. Wow.
it will be okay. Yeah, it will be okay. So that's just so you understand that it's true. Don't put that in your home compost pile. But for our facility, it's not a problem.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Can they start doing that with people?
Well, I was